Bam, what's up, guys? We're just about to get started here. Hopefully everybody has had an excellent week so far. What's going on, everybody? We're just about to go ahead and get the show started. As the topic states, is it the best time to build a PC, especially in today's economy, so to say? I know Computex is coming up real soon. It's hump day. We did it. We're already halfway through the week. Hopefully you guys had a great start to the week. And I gotta know is if there's anybody else out there that ended up getting the Steam controller. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. As you know, I'm Chris Mizo. Welcome to PC and Tech. As I usually talk about, feel free to ask any of the questions that you have about PC and Tech. If you are curious, you'll own nothing and be happy. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I had to bring that up. I actually tweeted about something about this, and this had to do with the Ryzen 6, because I find it pretty interesting, the fact that technically we don't own our games. We don't truly own our games. I know this is a hot topic. I know it's debatable. There's all different sides of the argument when it comes to this, but let me know how you feel about that. So, fam guys, if you're thinking of building a PC and you're struggling, you're thinking that it's too expensive to build a PC, especially in 2026, I have to say that it is still very possible that you can build a PC in 2026, even for under $1,000. I know that sounds absolutely insane. Maybe I am insane. Maybe most people out there that wants to build a PC, especially in today's climate, is pretty insane. But the truth is, it's still very possible. And in fact, it can even match with the PlayStation 5 Pro if you truly wanted to. Now, of course, there's obviously better PCs out there that you can build. I know this is probably not the biggest topic, so to say, when it comes to, especially now. You see the prices of RAM. You see the pricing, especially when it comes to the SSDs. You thought the RAM was bad? The SSDs are 10 times worse than that. And then, of course, you have the GPUs that are also priced pretty high. But again, it's still very possible. I'm going to shift over to the browser here so you can take a look exactly what I'm looking at. Yes, feel free. Definitely talk about PCs. So over here, we're at Micro Center right now. No, we're not talking about the MacBooks, but they do have some great deals if you are looking for that. If you didn't know, ASUS had their recent 20th anniversary, and they had a great sale that ended up on Newegg for about like 20% off. I think it was like a $200 limit that you could get any ASUS product pretty much off. So I'm going to send a link right here for anybody that is interested in Newegg, that is looking to build a PC. If you're looking to build a PC, here is the link here. And what is contained in this link, you have to specifically go into Newegg. If you go into Newegg, you can actually get a 9800X3D with a power supply. Now, the power supply that they do come bundled with, I'll click the link so you guys can take a look at this. The power supply that they do bundle within, you just have to go to the Newegg side once you see this screen. Best Buy. We're going to Newegg. So once you go to the Newegg side, they should have this bundle right here. I know it's like a little hidden secret for anybody that is looking for a great deal for a AMD Ryzen 9800X3D. And it does come with a power supply. Actually, their power supplies are, yeah, right here, secretly. It says ad-free gift offer. Originally it was up here, but they actually moved it down onto the page. So you can see that it comes with the CXM CX750. Now, if you are building a PC and you choose to get this kit, that's great. That's awesome. Corsair makes great power supplies. But you have to also know the power limits of your PC. I wouldn't bundle it with, say, like, I wouldn't purchase a 5070 Ti with this, because then that's going to lead into a bad time. And I don't think anybody wants their PC to pretty much end up shutting off while they're gaming. So, 750 is good enough to power up, like something like a RX 9070 XT, which is plenty good for most people out there that are planning to game on 1080p, or maybe you game on ultra wide. This is the way to go. Now you get the AMD Ryzen 9800 X3D, and you get this power supply. Then plus, if you choose to, you can end up bundling your package with, say, a G-Skill Trident Z5. I'll show you the package. It comes with the Trident Z5, and it comes with about 32 gigabytes of RAM. It also comes with the 9100 SSD. If you guys don't know, it's really pricey in order to get your hands on one. In fact, I'll show you just how expensive it is. We'll go back to Micro Center and we'll look at this exact SSD. Now, I'm going to copy this right here, and let's see, Samsung 9100. And if you see this price, it might make you feel disgusted here. 1 or 2 terabytes SSD. So right here, they're offering a, let me see, I think it is a 1 terabyte. I believe it is 1 terabyte. Let me just double check down here. Let me see. Of course, they're going to show that. So let's see, 90. I believe it's 1 terabyte from what I remember. Here we go. Desktop memory, desktop processor, internal SSD. Here we go. So, okay, let me just add it into the cart so I could show you what it looks like. And then we'll view the cart, proceed to checkout. We'll click, and then we'll check it out right here. Oh, let me go ahead and go like this. Let's just view the cart here. There we go. So, yes, it is a 1 terabyte drive. It is the Samsung SSD 9100 Pro 1 terabyte. So the PC building is so effing stupid. I actually got my old PC out as oh man, that's an ancient one though. GTX 1080 Ti and 16 gigabytes of DDR4 23 mega. Man, that's a throwback right there. What's up, RIP Gaming? Yeah, include the 3. Had it listed as 1 terabyte. I figured that's what it was. It's funny how they don't really put it into the wording, but it's definitely an attractive bundle. I mean, it's only $919 considering you get everything here. You do end up getting the processor, of course, the 9800 X3D, which is valued at $417 currently if you catch it on sale. And of course, if you get the RAM, it's going to be about $400. And then if you get an SSD, it's going to cost you easily, like I said, like if you go over to the Micro Center page here, 2 terabytes is $459. Actually, it's a good sign. It's actually dropping a bit. 1 terabyte, it's now $250. I'm seeing some positive shift. Actually, it dropped down quite a bit. Originally, they were charging a ton of money for a 1 terabyte. I mean, up to what was it? I think it was like $350 to $400. So it definitely dropped down quite a bit. But of course, not as much as most people want. I know people are looking for a much better drop when it comes to SSDs. So I'm freezing. Oh, okay. Yeah, some bundles you've found are still pre-RAM costs. And that's the best way. You have to get it is through bundle. Through the bundle is certainly the best way to get it. So the bundle would maybe be worth it if it included a motherboard in this package. Oh, I can get it. I get it. Yeah, exactly. It's like sometimes some of these bundles don't seem as enticing, especially that they don't give you everything that you feel that should be included. I mean, at least you get the power supply, right? You get the RAM, you get the SSD, you get the, but you don't get the motherboard. Unfortunately, yes, but I can tell you this, at least the motherboard, you don't have to worry about as much. the motherboards are usually the ones that you don't have to stress about finding. And you can find a decent one. You can find a B series. You can find easily a X870E for a decent deal. I mean, if you go back and take a look at some of these motherboards that they do have, I mean, you could go into PC Builder and take a look. Um, but you save, yes, and that's exactly what it is. You do save on the bulk of items. So let's go here, and if I look up at the X870E board, more than likely it's going to be on sale. And the reason why a lot of these X870E boards are on sale is because Samsung. I get it. No, I do get it. It's crazy. Western Digital's terrible. And you know what the craziest thing is, that Samsung is also, it's rumored that they're pulling out of the whole RAM market. And if that's the case, that's Micron and Samsung that both left, and that only leaves SK Hynix, which is insane. That means just the prices are just going to go even higher. The demand's going to be much more higher. That the focus now is pretty much on a lot of these AI companies, to where they're interested in these wafers. But if you look for a motherboard, of course, Computex is coming up soon. And the reason why these motherboards are for a great deal is, yes, they're very good boards. They're still great in 2026 for X870Es. Now, of course, it's rumored that they are planning to get X970E boards out onto the floor at CES 2026. But I don't think that's necessarily true. More than likely, you might see an upgraded X870E, maybe an X870E Wi-Fi 8, for example. You'll probably see something more in the lines of that instead of a whole new chipset. Of course, it would still follow AM5 if that is the case. Exactly. That's like pretty much a monopoly. That's exactly the right call. That's what it would turn into, because then they can pretty much price however they want. Almost like just like what Waffle Skater said. They can pretty much price when it comes to the whole memory side, because not the memory side, but the SSD side, because the majority of SSD buyers are going to go for a Samsung drive or a Western Digital drive, or they want it to be called SanDisk now, but I don't know what the hell happened, especially after this whole shortage. You don't really see much of it. It's like almost like they're not making as much. It's just that they hold up so much old stock that they can't sell, that they're just like selling what they have now, but selling them at a crazy, tremendous amount of pricing. But going back onto the topic, when it goes to the motherboard side, if you are trying to get a motherboard for your PC build, the good thing is they're not too crazy expensive. This is actually one of the ones I highly recommend, is the MSI MPG X870E Carbon. So the best we can hope for is that NVIDIA makes something so we can 3D print parts. Yeah. I mean, it's possible. It's very possible. I think there's definitely going to be a bit more access. I mean, we see Noctua give out ways. They give out some pretty much everything that you need to know about their products in order for you to even print up their fans. So SanDisk has always been cheap price-wise. Can't be known as SanDisk with their prices. Absolutely, that is quite chaotic if that's the case. It definitely will defeat the purpose if they end up doing that. So here is the MSI MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi. You can actually pick it up for like $359. And if you're not an MSI fan, that's okay, because even ASUS has their X870E H gaming motherboard on sale, which is $340. So if you bundle that package together, you practically nearly have everything. All you need to truly have is just the CPU cooler and pretty much the GPU, which more than likely, if you get a CX750 with this processor, you can end up bundling it with something like the 9070 XT. And overall, it's still going to be a pretty affordable build. So, nope, you did not miss it. In fact, we were just talking about it, about bundling. What's up, Ricky? I mean, 3D print, yes. Actually, Noctua actually came out with their different blueprints. You can actually print out their Noctua fans if you wanted to. It's actually on their website. I believe Noctua has it. I mean, even Steam has released their controller to where you're able to print different accessories if you want to. You can put different type of skins casing. And for anybody that's curious about the Steam controller, I do have it. In fact, I was trying to link it up with the Steam on Steam OS, practically on Bazite on Asus ROG Xbox Ally X. Unfortunately, I did not bring a USB-C cable with me. I didn't think I would need it because I think you would naturally think you could hook up via Bluetooth, but then again, I do have to update Bazite, and I also do have to end up hooking up the Steam Puck to it to see for it to pretty much sync a bit better here. So Ricky says, does it cost extra to add RAM, or is it the same with the RAM bundle at Micro Center? Now, it's funny that you mentioned that. I just mentioned this. It's actually cheaper if you go with the bundles. Now, if you go with the bundles, it's definitely worth just spending a little bit of extra. Say you don't need a motherboard. Say you don't need a solid state drive, but it's always good to have it, especially now because of how expensive everything is. I mean, if you take a look at the pricing for how much they're charging, $250 for 1 terabyte. Now, $250 was able to get you about 2 terabytes of an SSD before. So that just shows you how expensive it truly is getting when it comes to the hardware space. Now, going back to the 9800 X3D, they do have a decent bundle where they kind of like sneak it in there. If you take a closer look at it, you can see that they include an additional free gift with it, which is the Corsair CX750M, a decent power supply, only up to 750 watts, of course. But again, it's free. Can't truly complain about it. I mean, you can always, if you want a more powerful power supply, you do have the option of just selling this, the CX750, and then just end up upgrading your power supply then. Maybe you're probably not going to get the full $65, of course. You'll probably sell it for half price, but that's something. So you got $250, got you 4 terabytes last November. It's ugly, right? That's just terrible. I remember when we got the Western Digital SN 5000, a great drive. It's actually a Western Digital Blue drive, and it's PCI Express 4, still works great. And at the time, you could actually end up purchasing it back in last November. You could actually purchase it for like about roughly $300, $350 for 4 terabytes. And now that's like nearly impossible to find these days. So, bro, that 1 terabyte price is crazy. Just think of when it went to 2 terabytes for 100. Yeah, exactly. And I gotta tell you, and Ricky here, he went to Micro Center. He ended up actually picking up the RAM. He picked up the SSDs for actually some really great deals. He actually picked it up in the bundle back when Micro Center actually had they still have great bundles, but it was only $300 for this kit. And that was for the Intel 14700K, and it also came with some RAM. Didn't come with the SSD, but of course the motherboard, but all for $300. Great starter build for anybody out there that is trying to build a PC. But of course now the bundles have changed quite a bit here. Now, if you look at their bundles now at Micro Center, you can see how different it is. So if you got like an Ultra 7265KF, which they're pretty much trying to clean the shelves off of for, because especially with the 270K, it's $550 for this kit. You get a decent motherboard, which is the As You Wish board, plus some RAM, which is CL32, and the 265K. Not bad, $530, but you can see how much of an increase it was since then. Tony, so the only thing bad about bundles, because I think if you have something that goes wrong with one thing, you have to, yeah, and that is true. That is the one negative side if you do choose to purchase bundles. And if you do have an issue, you have to return the whole kit. That is certainly a negative side. I'm glad you brought that up, Tony, which is true. So if you're truly after getting the RAM, then at least that's the good sign, as long as the RAM's okay. But if you have an issue with any of the components there, you can always ask to swap it out. Hopefully they're a little bit more lenient in that sense if you're just trying to swap out like a motherboard or maybe another component that you're having an issue with. So Waffle Skater says, I got a 2 terabyte one of those, paid $60 in December. I regret not buying more when Best Buy clearance them. Absolutely. Walmart was actually selling 70, it was the 7800 X3D or the 7600, no, it was the 7800 X3D on clearance for $100. And this was just last year. So I hosted several Minecraft servers, and when I calculated a PC built to run on them smoothly, it was 30,000 euros. Insane. Just buy new ones. it's scam. Okay, that's a method there. Sweet. What's up, Weenie? Great to see you. LSG. The SM5000. The SSD is, yeah, exactly. The SM5000 is what I was talking about. That. Oh yeah, that's funny. That's ironic because we just brought that up. So it seems like the best deals and LSG. I know. Did you end up rolling back your firmware when it came to your NVIDIA drivers? So if anybody's having problems with their NVIDIA drivers, actually LSG, I should have brought this up too. I heard one other person had an issue with the new NVIDIA drivers to where it seemed like it was cutting down their frames. So I'm going to post up a poll, and if anybody out there has a NVIDIA card, please let us know. I would like to know if you're having issues with your NVIDIA card, especially with the new driver. The new driver was supposed to include Forza Horizon 6, and with this new driver, it seems like it wasn't working properly. So I'm going to ask a very simple poll here. And did you have problems with the new NVIDIA driver? Now, I did mention on X here, you can feel free to answer. You just put 1 or 2 if you're having problems with the new NVIDIA driver. Now, the other people that I've heard that had issues with it, it seemed like it was cutting down their frames quite drastically. So if you're having a problem, please let us know. It's also great to know. That way, it's something that you can easily report over to NVIDIA. Now, of course, every game plays differently. Hopefully they have a hot fix or a hot patch that comes out sometime soon for anybody that does have a NVIDIA card. Now the issues that I personally was having, and one of my personal friends here also had an issue when it came to Battlefield 6 Season 3, was that it seemed that it was running the processors very hot. The processors were running at maximum temperature. I'm talking about thermal throttling temperatures. Egyptian Savage, great to see you. Which I'll get back to in a second. I get a lot of crashes on Resident Evil game. I don't know if it's the cost. Try rolling it back, Tony, and see if that does anything. I know LSG, he just rolled his back. I'm sure it's been performing a lot better since then. So Waffle Skater says, ouch, the last driver of my NVIDIA app says it was installed. Hey, I mean, if your games still work, why bother? My RTX 5090 I got was, oh wow, so you actually ended up, which exact model of RTX 5090 did you have, and what type of power supply did you use? Just out of curiosity. And I have to also ask, were you using the 4-in-1 adapter that they gave you to power up the RTX 5090, or did you use a direct 12 volt high power port in order to connect the power supply to your GPU? You know, yesterday when I was playing Battlefield 6 Season 3, that was one of my concerns there. I was thinking, is it possible that the 5090 actually finally burned? That I could show the channel, but of course, and it's good that it didn't burn, but it seemed that it was Battlefield 6 Season 3 most of all that was causing issues with the CPU. So if you're playing Battlefield not Season 6, if you're playing Battlefield 6 Season 3 and you're running into issues, just keep an eye on your CPU temperature and voltage. It was running extremely high, and this isn't just AMD. It was also running it the same way on the Intel Raptor Lake refresh, like the 14900K it was running on. So did you see the newly? Yeah, I think it's pretty dope. I think that is a dope desk that they came out with. I hope they sample that thing out. It would be pretty amazing. Then we could go full Project Wood. So Prince Green says, exactly why I undervolted my 5090 FE. Yeah, there's a lot of fear. There's definitely a lot of fear. Founders and 1300. You know, believe it or not, really, the Founders Edition gave you, wow. and a 1312. Okay, 1300 watts. And which brand was it? Just out of curiosity here, that caused this GPU to burn. So guys, fam bam, for everyone that's just coming in, we're just talking about PC builds. You can feel free to ask whatever questions that you have about PC building. I was just reiterating everything that they do have on sale from Micro Center and on Newegg, because I know there's not as many micro centers out there. So you can definitely take a look at Newegg for these options. I had to share this deal, which is an excellent deal. Anytime I see great deals, I wanted to share it with you guys. So I will post it here. So if you're interested in this deal, just click that link and just go to the Newegg side. Just click the then just go into the 9800 X3D. Now it's not for this a very specific bundle. You can get this specific bundle if you want, but if you get up just the, if you end up picking up just the standard 9800 X3D anyway, it will still come with a 750 watt power supply. So Egyptian Savage says, right when I went on a PC matchmaker and built a whole setup around a PC monitor, mouse, everything. It was 4,800 for the whole setup, man. So, okay, can you please tell me why your screen display is never full screen, or can I never see everything that yours? Are you? Yes, I'm. I'm not also streaming on Twitch, and I'm also streaming on YouTube in two formats. So if you're probably on your phone seeing the you're probably seeing the short format type of video where it's vertical. You can actually switch over to the horizontal side if you'd like. The horizontal side, of course, you get a much better view of everything. I try to shift everything for you guys on the vertical side for those who are curious. So far we got two answers on the poll. We got a mix. So, bro, the total cost of my PC with the monitors was 20. Yeah, it's probably worth a lot more than that, because Ricky ended up picking up some streaming equipment with it too. So that was $2,700, and that was a very decent build. He ended up building a, he even picked up an RTX 5070 Ti. He had the Asus Pro motherboard, which is the Z790 14700K, or the 14900K. I forget which one. It was either one of those two. But he also got a 32 gigabytes of RAM, which were G-Skill. And he also got a decent power supply. I think it was Corsairs. And he had a NZXT H9 Flow case. So I'm on YouTube. I can't see everything. How do I do it on YouTube? You know what? In fact, if you're having issues, I'll share it with you. For anyone that is on the, oh, I apologize, guys. I see why it's confusing, because usually I kind of format it in a way to where I put it. Let me just see something, guys. Did I F up something here? No, I did not. Okay, so I see the problem. I'm going to share it, and I'll share it to you guys. Oh, congratulations. Enjoy your vacation. Where are you headed, Egyptian? So that's the full screen format. I do apologize for anyone that prefers that format. I'll put the cell phone. I got to fix the title, in fact, because it seems that I have the that siren. There you go. So I will alert you guys that are on the vertical format. There should be a way you can match the screen resolution. Yeah, no problem. No problem at all. Yeah, you know, I think I agree with Prince. YouTube should do a way to where if you want to put it into a full screen instead of a vertical screen, have the option to click it. I think that would be a great choice. So it seems like not too many people are really running into issues when it comes to video cards. But going back on actually Ricky's condition on getting all that streaming equipment plus the PC, that would easily cost like at least roughly about $3,700 now. That's how much everything has increased. And that was only last year. That was late August of 2025. And that's how dramatic everything. No problem, Prince. I'm glad I could help. Marsa Alam, aka the Egyptian Maldives. You know what's funny, Egyptian? I was just talking about this. Bro. I was talking about thinking of visiting Egypt and seeing the pyramids and everything. But the thing is, I hear it's best to go Yeah, to go with the tour guides there. You let me know what you think, Egyptian. So $2,000 budget, built for gaming and VMs. Which GPU is recommended? Okay, so you have a 2000. Is that just for the GPU or is that for your full PC? Because that's, as you know, there are some GPUs that you can easily get for 2000. So it all depends on how much you're willing to. Okay, so for the full build. So if that's the case, what do you game on? Just to ask you, what do you game on? What type of resolution do you game on? And for the VM side, more than likely you're probably for the virtual machine. Since you're just using a virtual machine, that's not going to be as much of a big deal. So both these ideas go to a 5-star resort. These are like really cheap, like $200 a night for really. Oh snap! Yeah, that sounds nice. That sounds like a real good deal. Go to the 5-star. Yeah, like $200 a night for 2 people. That's actually really not bad. So, so for the full build, depends on what type of resolution you're gaming on. Are you gaming on a 1080p display? So I paid $1,400 for my 5080 performance wise. So I think it's worth about $800. I'd be cool with that. So 14. Okay, so 1440, and use 5 to 6 VMs, full home lab setup. So that means, for you, what matters mostly, besides the GPU, is definitely going to be the RAM side, and the processor does matter too. You're asking for a lot of tasks, and because the processor is definitely going to matter here. What I would suggest is I would go with something more like a 7950X. You probably can find a decent deal because that has multi-cores, or maybe you could go with something like Intel's, I wouldn't say 270K. The 14900K, maybe you could probably get decent deals. But again, for $2,000, you want to look for mostly a decent processor, RAM, and if you get a decent GPU, it's going to cost you some money, unfortunately. But the best options, we'll look. 14900K. Let's see what bundles they have, because usually if you look it up on Newegg, and they'll actually show some bundles underneath here, and they do have some combo offers, and it's $469 still. The 270K is also decent too, but you're really pushing it. You need cores and threads from what you're describing. 5070 Ti, 5070 Ti would be pretty close. Like the cheapest you could spend on a 5070 Ti would probably be like $1,000, because now the 5070 Ti at the lowest tier point would be at that price. If we're going to do this, you need, let's see, let's look up 7950X. Just the standard X. You don't need the X3D because you'll spend more for it. This one's $504. They do have one where it's refurbished. That's more of a deal. This would actually be probably a bit better. It's only $338. You see, guys, even in 2026, this is possible. You can get it refurbished. $338 for this. You know what? Let's clear the cart real quick. We're going to clear this cart, and then we're going to act like we're building it. So we're going to add this to the cart. Now you're going to need something like a X670E. See if we can find a decent one. If we have to go in a tighter budget, of course, it would be a bit better to probably go B650. After all, search up the Neverland Hurghada. It's 270. It has a huge water park, and I mean 140 plus water slides and 45 pools. That's insane. That's massive. I will definitely look that up. So, Gypsy Sketcher says, I have a Corsair Titan AIO, and recently the fans from the AIO are making a whining sound. Have you heard this before? So your AIO is making a whining sound. Is it from the pump or is it from the fans itself? You have to let me know if it's from the pump, because it could be just It sounds like the fans. Okay. So what I would do is what you can do is you shut down the PC. And after you shut off your PC, manually spin the fans, each one of them, and see which one feels tight or kind of makes some sort of noise. Because then you'll know that the on the Titan they might have the regular bearings, the hydraulic bearings. So if you spin it and one gets like stuck or it doesn't feel like it's moving properly, then you would have to swap out that fan. So thinking, by the way, Ryzen 98 50X3D or the Intel i7 Ultra. I mean, those are decent choices, but the problem is if you do go with the 9850X3D, that you won't be able to use all those. What's the system you're using, by the way, now? Since you're doing this now with your virtual machines, what's the system that you're using currently? Yeah, no problem. I'm glad that could help. So and also a theme park with 11 high thrill. Nice. What's your opinions on the AI data servers wanting the? What I feel about it, I feel that if you want to keep your land, don't do everything to keep it. It's your land. I, of course, not. I'm sure when something like this happens, it's not just going to be easy as like going to the city to be able to get the permits or go into your township in order for you to get the permits and for them to just build it. It's going to have to get approved by the neighbors that live there. So everyone would have to be a mutual agreement for the whole data servers. So going back onto the motherboard side, if you look up a Z790, you want to get a new one. Let's see, they got 265 as the best deal that they have. That's kind of pricey for that motherboard, actually. Oh, this is the X870P, that's why. So they pretty much cleared out a lot of their standard X670E boards. So I'm using a laptop with ice. What? So what are you doing on these for? So you're not really doing much then. You're not really doing as much as I thought you were. If that's the case, then pretty much, then pretty much everything that you're running, um, then you can pretty much run it on any processor. That's the case. I thought you were doing a lot more, like more like coding type of deal. But if that's the case, if you're just, I'm assuming everything is like on Linux based for the most part from your virtual machines, and you're probably just messing with it from what it sounds like. Has 3 terabytes of DDR5. Oh wow, yeah. Well, it's going to. It's gotta. That's a $500,000. Yeah, pretty much. Like if you're able to do it, yeah. So okay, so if that's the case, again, $2,000 budget anyway. You can still get away with say, here goes a Gigabyte X670E, X670 Gaming XAX. Say we add that to the cart. We're going refurbished here because again, we're trying to find the best price possible. Um, Again, that altogether, that's $478. Now, if you compare it to a Micro Center bundle, which is definitely going to be much more better, because you get everything new, definitely the better option for anybody that does want to build a new PC here. Um, for example, if you wanted the 9850X3D, that's a $700 bundle, and it comes with a decent board, which is the AMD, which is the Asus B850 Tough Gaming motherboard, and it also comes with, of course, the same processor that you're looking for, and the RAM of 32 gigabytes. So that's roughly about 700. You get the GPU. If you're gaming on 1440, then you're pretty much good. When gaming on something like a 9070 XT, you could actually get one for $700. So 700 and 700 right there is 1400. Those are a lot of your major components that you already have. The tricky part will be the SSD actually getting the NVMe, because if you get the NVMe, you can end up either getting PCI Express 4, which is definitely the better option for anybody out there that is trying to purchase some SSD storage, which I'll show you right here. We're going to go over to drives and storage. We're going to go to internal solid state drives. It seems like pricing has gotten actually a bit better. Not completely better, but a bit better. So you can get, like, for example, if you're trying to cut it close, keeping a tight budget, If you don't have an SSD, avoid the QLC ones. Yes, QLC slower. It's I do agree. SLC is definitely the way to go. Like when it comes to it, that or let me see, or TLC. Either two. SLC is good if you can find speed, but I don't think they really have SLC as much as TLC. Um, I'm planning to purchase my first PC at the end of the year, and it's going to be a RTX 5080 9800 X3D ASUS ROG 870E X870E, 32 gigabytes, 2 terabytes SSD. That's awesome. What about CC? Yeah, what about CCC? So everybody in here, you gotta let me know what your thoughts are about the people getting busted right now playing Forza Horizon 6. And the publisher said that we're not just going to ban you off of the game, but we're going to ban your hardware. So that means and like anything that you try, you could try coming up with different usernames. It's pretty much you're pretty much screwed at that point. Murphy the Worm says, is DDR3 still good? I mean, it's good if it still works for you. Well, congrats on your $5,000 PC. That's where it's headed at this point. If just be, you know, it's insane. It's just insane how expensive everything is now. I was looking at the budget. Oh, that reminds me, guys. I will put it up. I'm going to put up a goal. So far, we got $20. We got $20 raised for this. I didn't mean to do that, guys. Damn it. So we got $20 raised for this. And right now, what we're going to do is it's going to go towards a Threadripper. $20 raised for a Threadripper PC. Only $6,970 to go, roughly. So feel free to put a super chat in if you'd like. Only to go. I gotta put a laughing face because this is funny. So I'm gonna put this in. Feel free to go for it. Yeah, I know. I remember my 5080 was like 20. You know, that's the thing. Chris Strong. You know, for some reason, it's making me think of stocks. Because you see Nvidia's way up there now. Nvidia's at $5.5 trillion market cap. And they just continue to grow. Yeah, I agree. I don't know what he was thinking, but at least he donated. He donated $5. He said he's gonna donate more. We'll see. AMD Ryzen 7 9850 X3D, ASUS B850E, tough gaming Wi-Fi, AM5 Corsair Vintage RGB 32 gigabyte kit, and computer build bundle. That's a decent build. And all you need is your SSD, right? You just have to get. Speaking of which, Forza. Apparently, if you game on Forza Horizon 6 and they catch you, and I'm pretty sure he was online, if they catch you gaming online with Forza Horizon 6, they will ban your hardware. So you won't be able to play not just Forza, I'm sure it's going to be other titles that you won't be able to access from them. So let me know your thoughts of that. So that's what the plan is currently. So Hidden says, I tightened the memory timings on my Corsair kit dramatically. They just leave a lot of room on the table with just base XMP settings. Oh, nice. Usually that's how it is. You can usually drop the latency because they give you enough room to play with. Like on a lot of these RAM kits, they give you enough to drop it down at least like -2 cast latency here. So I'll disable the poll now. Seems we got our answers here. So soon we are getting scammed by buying hardware bin. Yeah, that's a possibility. Very real possibility. They can install a fresh Windows and run into some serious issues here. I get it. I certainly get it. So for SSDs, if anybody's looking for an SSD and you're trying to get a decent price on it, make sure to take a look here on Micro Center. They do have some great deals. If you don't have a Micro Center near you, you can go to Newegg and check it out. Usually Newegg's pretty good when it comes to certain deals. I haven't. Let's take a look, just out of curiosity, to see what they have here. Let's take a look at some NVMe's here. What's up, Z-Man? My main game is Counter-Strike. Oh, so that you don't really need that much power then. If you're gaming 1440, you're just trying to get maximum frame resolution. So the 9070 XT would be like perfect for you. Even honestly, you probably could get away with a 9060 XT if that's your main game as Counter-Strike. And for others that use PS5, makes perfect sense. Z-Man, it's great to see you in here. Right now, we're just taking a look at some pricing. It seems like the pricing has dropped a little bit, not by much. It's still very expensive. As you see right here, 24 cents per gigabyte. So it's $250 for a 1 terabyte SSD. As you know, before that could get you 2 terabytes. So it's nearly, it used to be, no, actually, no, it did go up a little bit, right? Because I'm thinking 1 terabyte's about $200. So that's still $250 is still really expensive. You take a look at the PCI Express 4. This one's a decent one. This one is TLC. And this is 1 terabyte. I hope it is. No, 512. Of course, 120. Samsung 9100, of course. Going to be super expensive if you choose to end up going that direction. Team Billy. So I switched to gaming on my mini PCs with a decent iGPU. Been building a retro. You know, I'm pretty soon we're going to get to that point. Everyone's gonna start doing retro builds at this point. You're gonna go back to IDE cables and floppy disk and back to setting primary drive. I'm sure you guys remember that. GH Game says, I'm just going with the Samsung 9100 for now, but maybe when I buy it, I'm like, hey, let me just tell you, they said this last Black Friday, and look what happened. It just, nothing moved at all. It just constantly went worse. So Asus Tough Gaming LC3, 360 ASRock, AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT Lexar and M790 1 terabyte. Okay, so that's pretty decent. Or MSI Spatium 1 terabyte SSD. So they're both good drives, actually. They're both excellent drives to go with. So yeah, I would say a build like that would definitely work out well for you. So yeah, I see the question in your title. While not necessarily the worst time to build a PC, there has been better. Absolutely. There certainly has been improvement in times when it comes to building PCs. But of course, it's not impossible. And that's what I certainly want to share to everybody out there. For anyone that's trying to build a PC that feels like it's impossible, it's not. You can certainly still build a PC. So Murphy the Worm says the Intel i5 3470, 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, NVIDIA Quattro K400, 4000, 3 gigabytes of DDR5 valid for the next year or so. Hey, I mean, it still works. It still works great. Of course, I know like when it comes to more of the retro builds, I wouldn't put Microsoft Windows 11 on it. Of course, as we all know, it just seems like Windows 11 has just been giving everybody headaches more than everything. It hasn't been perfect. So if you are looking for SSDs, definitely go PCI Express 4. You don't have to go PCI Express 5. Yes, it's more attractive. Yes, it's faster. But why do you need it to be faster? It's not going to improve your gaming performance. It's meant for more transfer rates. What's up, Doctor Who? Welcome in. So, yes, it's meant for transfer rates. It's meant for speed. So, what are the deals for 2 terabyte SSDs? So, the current deals that they have for the 2 terabyte SSDs that we've seen. Now, here at Micro Center, if you have a Micro Center near you, is going to be this Clev CRAS C910G 2 terabyte drive. Honestly, they haven't been bad. In fact, you could ask Hidden Bull. He's actually used these Clev SSDs before. Again, that's probably going to be the best deal if you choose to go that direction. Crucial's P310 is actually a great deal. It's 4 TB, and this is 450 for it. Now they do have, of course, smaller drives, but if you can find the smaller drives, you can definitely get a better deal on that if you can. Let's see, that's a P510. But those are the current best deals that you can currently get. So it feels new to the stream. Thank you for joining, Doctor. I'm glad you are enjoying the stream. It feels bad to build a PC now, but if you go back 486 days, you could buy an entire computer more than 2 times as fast, only 1.5 years, 1.5 years after you build it. Absolutely. The best thing is not to really look back, because you truly think of how everything is going. Usually when you even when you buy lunch, right? 2 years ago, how much cheaper it was then. And you look at the dramatic increase in change now. So before, $10 could actually get you probably a decent lunch. $10, $15 USD can get you a decent lunch. But now, if you go ahead and get a lunch, $10 to $15 is only part of your meal anymore. So it's actually better to have like closer to $20 to $25. So if you think about it, everything is just going up together. So everything is going up in price, including PCs, unfortunately. And of course, there could certainly be better times to build a PC. Of course, back then, everything feels much more affordable. But of course, now in the current times, it's just expensive because of how much cost has went up. So I've had good luck with Clev SSDs. Yes, exactly. SSDs in general are very reliable. The main difference is the speed, even across the same generation PCI Express. So no to the 486 days like Pentium era. Oh, oh, okay. So when I look back, I get pissed. Yeah. I mean, you look back and you think about like how much you could have done, how much you could have bought, and how much of a better deal that you can get out of your PCs. Of course, I think many people out there would buy so much storage. People would end up buying RAM. At the time, we just took for granted of what we had. Just remember how full our shelves was, full of RAM, how accessible it was, how we would bitch and moan if the price of RAM went up like 20 bucks. But now now you're talking about like 10 times that amount now. So the golden age was 5 cents a gigabyte. Oh yeah, absolutely. That's how it should be. It's a greed that of these companies that piss me off. Absolutely. I went ahead and bought a Gen 5 4 terabyte because when everything went up, it was only $20 more. Yes, and that's the only time it truly makes sense. If you can get Gen 5 for close to the price of Gen 4, then absolutely go with Gen 5. Because then the price isn't that different. But if the price is as tremendous as it is now, if you compare this 2 terabyte drive over the Samsung 9100 Pro, as we see, that's just insanely different. You're talking about 100, you're talking about like over $140 difference there. So that's insane. $60 for one terabyte. It's like almost $200 for a terabyte. Now, if you get, that's for specifically if you choose to go PCI Express 5. So I hear people talking about hoping the AI bubble pops so prices drop. But me personally, I don't feel like it'll ever pop. It'll become stagnant. That's the problem, stagnation. And I actually made a video based on this. I'm glad that JH had brought this up. It's exactly that problem. And I'll show you exactly what it means. Because when you take a look at these charts here, so if anybody is interested, I'll post this link for the 9800 X3D. Make sure to check out Newegg for their deal. So I will answer its question in a bit. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the chart, the RAM chart of a PC Parts Picker, because they got an excellent chart here. And you can see exactly, we'll go to the most common one that everyone gets, which is 6,000 megahertz. That is the golden number for most people out there. That's the most common one that you want to get if you're building a PC, especially if you're on AMD and of course if you're on Intel as well. Now, DDR5 6000, it is now roughly at the price of December 2025 here, guys. December of 2025 here, it was roughly about a little bit over $400. And then it hit 450. And ever since January, since the beginning of the year here, it just pretty much went flat and never moved. As you can see, it's just a consistent flat line, which is not a good thing because that just means like, is that the new normal? Because you look at the chart right before it, you can see that it was that nice, it had that increase, right? And then it was flat for a long time in 2025. It went up in December, but barely, not much. It went up a little bit. It was really cheap back then. Like you're talking about $110, and then it just went back up slowly. It kind of creeped up through 2025. And I'm sure people noticed it, but they didn't really care too much because it wasn't that much of a difference. It was pushing like $20, $30 at the time. And then all of a sudden there was this large pop, especially between October to November. And that was the forewarning for everyone to purchase RAM at that time. So I've heard that AMD, you don't want to go higher than 6,000, but Intel you can. Yeah, there's a reason for that. And I know Hidden can explain that too. So the reason why you don't want to go higher on a AMD system, you don't need it technically on the X3D processor because you have the extra cache. You have the V cache there, which is much better than RAM anyway in most cases because it's going to receive that temporary memory much more quicker than the RAM would because the RAM's just like pretty much the backup to the CPU. So for Intel, it works a little bit different. They don't have as much cache. Of course, now that they are coming out with this new technology that Intel is coming out with, which is going to compete with the X3D, which I'm highly interested in Nova Lake, which is called the BLC. When they release this whole BLC, that's going to be the competition against AMD's X3D. And but as of now, Intel, anything under like the Intel 270K or anything under the 270K, pretty much the whole 15, 14, 13, and whatever generations you go back on, what happens is when you're gaming, all that cache can't really, there's not enough for it to store to the point into the into your processor. So it has to go to the RAM. So the RAM has to be really fast in order to keep up with that processor. So that's how that works. So on AMD, you want to keep the controller, the memory controller, right? The U clock and the 6,000 mega transfers is 1-to-1 with your 6,400 mega transfers. You have to overclock your memory controller by 100 megahertz to keep the ratio. And that's like pretty much like everything he's describing here is pretty much like how you get into the whole infinity cache. And that's, you want it synced for that. So that way it just flows a lot more flawlessly in that sense. Whereas in Intel, you're just, it benefits from having faster memory because the faster memory you have, the better that your processor will also perform in game. And that there's going to be a lot less, pretty much like micro stutters or any type of lag while you're gaming, so to say. So for anyone that is curious on the whole Intel and AMD side of things, that's how that works. So we were just discussing memory. Of course, he is correct. Memory is not been shifted at all. And I think the tall tell sign is definitely going to be Computex. Of course, if anybody that's just coming in, or if you were curious that if we're headed to Computex, we're not going to head to Computex this year. But we will definitely cover Computex and see what type of ideas or what type of releases that they have. And we'll definitely talk about it because I think Computex will be certainly an indicator of what we can expect, especially in the consumer market now when it comes to PCs. So, because I think what we're going to see a lot of is more refreshes. We're not going to see any new tech. Now, what was interesting though is that was it Hardware Info 64? It was either hardware, no, it was Capframe X. Capframe X, the tracker for the overlays when it comes to gaming. They said that they release that they're pretty much updated it for Zen 6. So that kind of gives you indication like, oh, so does that mean Zen 6 is coming out sometime soon? Um, it makes me curious to see. It would be a first to see it if they bring up Zen 6, like if they talk about it. But if we do actually see it, I don't think it would be until like the end of this year. And then we would probably see it physically at CES 27, I would think. But again, that's all due time. And of course, for anybody that is looking to build a PC, there is never a perfect time to build a PC. There's always going to be some sort of turbulence. There is no perfect timing when it comes to building PCs. So don't let it scare you away. It's still very possible to build a PC in 2026 without spending a ton of money. Now, of course, you'll spend a little bit more than you would back last year, but it's not going to be that insanely expensive. So that for anybody that's afraid, don't be afraid. Just look at the bundles more. The bundles are where you want to head to when it comes for these deals. Gas out, great to see you. I think he's our. I put the super chat, and again, for anybody that's curious, anybody that wants to raise for a Threadripper build, it is out there. It is available. We got $20 raised. We only have, as you see, the goal. We only have roughly about $6,980 to go. So GAH says, yeah, for the last 5 years, PC building has always had some sort of turbulence. So I honestly say when you just buy a PC, when you have the money, there's never a right time. Absolutely. And that's what I stress about. Yes, people are always going to bitch and moan about pricing. I mean, I do it myself, and I know everybody does it too. But the fact is that it's not going to change the pricing. It could possibly even stay up, and there's absolutely nothing we can do. But again, it's not going to be hard. You don't have to spend $6,000 to build a PC. In fact, we just on Saturday we managed to do a full PC build for under $1,000. We only got to spend up to $920 for a full PC build, and it's still technically better than the PS5 Pro. And as you know, the PS5 Pro is insanely expensive for what it is now. If you look at the PS5 Pro, let me see. I think Micro Center sells PS5 Pros. Let me take a look. Yeah, they do. PS5 Pro, $900. So for $20 more, you can build something better than a PlayStation 5, a PS5 Pro. So I've seen 2 GPU price crashes holding for the next one, but now with data center gold rush. And that's the thing. You're going to see, it's going to be one of those like massive drops because it's just going to be like pretty much like almost like a crash. They're all going after one thing. They're all just pretty much trying to go for the gold. They're trying to get the big win. A lot of these companies are. And I wouldn't be surprised if in just very little time, I mean, OpenAI as it is, it seems like they're already falling apart as it is. I can't see them lasting as much longer, especially because they pretty much asked for money from Nvidia and from investors, but they're not seeing the ROI. They're not seeing that return on investment that they were hoping for. I noticed that MSI 5090 Trio no longer at Micro Center stock, so Amazon costs more. Yes, unfortunately, that's how it is. If Amazon has to stock it, it's going to be more expensive. So let me post this here. I'm just sharing this stream right now with everybody on wonderful Twitter over here, or X. There we go. So $900 for what a that's exactly the point. It should go down in price. Originally, the PS5 Pro, as everybody knows, was at $750. Now, if you don't know, or if you're not familiar with the PS5 Pro, it does not come with that stand. You see that stand? How it has that nice little that circle ring right there, that little stand? That doesn't come with it. So if you zoom in right here, this is kind of like false advertisement because this doesn't come with it. You actually have to purchase that with it. So that alone, this stand, I think it's between $30 or $50 for that stand. And then plus if you want a disk drive, you have to spend $80 for it. So really you're gonna spend over over $1,000. Plus you're going to have to pay for PlayStation Network. Because PlayStation Network isn't free either. You have to pay to play online. So it's going to be a lot more expensive in that sense. So it's definitely not worth getting a PS5 Pro. I could see the debate though when it comes to say like play GTA 6. It's absolutely a ripoff. And the thing is, I gotta say, we all know this. Unfortunately, when it comes to Rockstar, we all know one thing. If they come out with GTA 6, they like to double dip. Meaning that and they'll even double dip console people. And you know how? What they'll do is it's 2026, you have PS5 Pro and you have the Xbox Series X, and they'll release a GTA 6 in November, right? Decent date. But then the new console will come out within the next year in 2027, right? So people who have a PlayStation 5 will want a PlayStation 6 version because they'll get the better graphics. They'll have better everything will just look better about the game. So yes. So for people that don't believe that console people can get double dipped, they absolutely get double dipped. So they get double dipped from PlayStation 5 to upgrade it to PlayStation 6, and then the same goes with Xbox gamers that plan on playing GTA 6 into the new console. And of course, us gamers that have a console and has a PC, we're the ones that end up, of course, purchasing it for a console and then ended up buying it for PC as well because we just want the experience. Because once it's on PC, that's pretty much it. And that's how most people that have consoles end up looking at it. And some people who own consoles may even triple dip because, again, GTA 5 came out when it was PS3 era, when it was Xbox, Xbox 360 era. So that just tells you how many generations Grand Theft Auto truly went through. So, hello, can you rate my PC? It's a new build. Please tell me what you do think. And yeah, sure. Post up your PC. Let me know your specs. Of course, feel free to join in the Discord. Hopefully the Discord's popping up. Just click it. You can feel free to join in and I'll look over your specs, or you can type it in depending on how you want to do it. Sparsh, what's up? I bought the 5900 XT replace. Oh, nice. How are you liking it, by the way? So I am building an AM5 build with a Ryzen 5 9600X. Should I buy RX 9070 XT or the RTX? What are you gaming on is the question. It just depends on your display. G40, it's been a while. Great to see you. Hey, just a question. Would you do a series of rate your viewers setup? Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Great. That's a great input. I'll definitely keep that in mind for sure. Maybe we'll do that sometime soon for sure. I do love that idea. I get asked a lot about it. So it's 1440p. So let me answer Hidden Bull. He said this was the secret design change on the PS5 in the heatsink, which added the grooves to prevent the liquid metal migration. The original PS5 will have issues. Change was like end of 24. Interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, Hidden Bull. Hidden Bull. I said Hidden Bull. No problems with NVIDIA drivers. Good, good, good. So yes, absolutely. It's insane. Like it doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make any sense, champ. No. For 1440p, go 9070 XT. You won't regret it. It's much more cheaper. You're gonna save yourself like $500. If you go 9070 XT, you'll be impressed with the performance. And you do have the option of, if you ever choose to end up going Linux. So if you want to go dual boot on Linux, you absolutely could. NVIDIA, of course, you can too. But of course, it's more limited. And it takes a bit more experience, I feel, if you have NVIDIA in order for you to work with Linux, if that's the case. But that's just in case if you're thinking of it. There is positives when it comes to AMD. So 5900 XT, what not to love? 16 cores, 32 threads, everything I need. There you go. Absolutely. It's still a champion of its day. In fact, that they absolutely love the 5800 X3D, how they're willing to do the 10th year anniversary on it. That just tells you how much AMD trusts their product and how AM4 will truly never end up dying here. Yeah, even 64. Hey, that's Zen 3 was like the key. That was like the big key when it came to AMD here, because this is when they started really introducing the whole X3D architecture. How they decided to come out with this whole new idea, but I'm really curious to see when they come out with this whole AM6, like how much is going to change. Now there's rumors of how they have a better control over the memory controller when it comes to the new processors. Again, that's rumor based. It's hard to say until that day actually happens and we get official reports from AMD. But when we do, certainly we'll share it. So not Noji. So this is his build. He has a Ryzen 9 9950X3D CPU. He has a 3090 used. I got it in a low price, well tested, works perfect. 64 gigabytes of DDR5, 6000 megahertz. CPU cooler, Asus liquid cooling. Motherboard is the Asus X870P Wi-Fi. Okay, so that's a very decent build. And what type of case, by the way? What type of PC case do you have it in? Just out of curiosity. Before I give it a rating. And if you want to share your picture, you can feel free. Post it on Discord. And if you post it on Discord, I'll share your PC. Let me see. Let me just double check Discord. Yeah. So feel free to enter in onto Discord, and I will definitely show your PC if that's the case. And also, please share your PC case. Would love to see it, and then we can share it with everybody online here. So, but it's a very decent build though, and I gotta say, so I'll give my rating first once I get this whole case. So if anybody is thinking of PS5 Pro, again, you're gonna spend $900 for it. Not truly worth it. And PS5 is almost at its end of the era. And personally, I gotta say it was definitely one of the worst eras, and one of the least. I actually purchased the least games in this era when it came to PS5. I think I only have like maybe 5 games for PS5, and that's it. Because most of the games I was able to get on PC anyway. So the game on Emperor Midnight 3 Mid Tower case. Interesting. I gotta see what this case looks like because I'm not familiar with this one. Let's take a look, guys. Game on Emperor Midnight 3. Okay. Okay, so this is the case here. Let's go. I don't want to go AI mode. Let's see. Let's go here and take a look. Oh, that's a pretty dope case, actually. So you can fit up 360, roughly, on the top and to the side. Very interesting case. Now, it's like your typical fish tank type of case. Now, if I were to rate your build, everything that you mentioned, I would give it, let me see. I give it I'd say 8 out of 10. It's really good. Really decent build. I'm being very generous, assuming that you hooked up your wires very nicely. I used a LATC in Linux to overclock my GPU. It works great. I am using a 4070 Ti. Awesome. You gotta love it. It's funny because this is the biggest debate. I feel like this is the year where Linux gaming can actually become really big. And the reason being is it's really thanks to the fact to Steam actually releasing their Steam machine. And if they come out with the Steam machine and it comes out and it sells out really well, I think this is actually a very good movement, especially for PC gaming. It's a very good positive. It's actually the Steam machine's timing is excellent. I know there's a lot of people out there that may not be a big fan of things like pre-builds, but this is a great way, especially for console gamers to start like really switching over to PC, what it's like, I think that would be a great idea and a great way to get people into gaming. And the crazy part is they're going to be gaming on Linux, pretty much with the KDE interface. So, yeah, indeed, a long time. I'm graduating uni. This may be, I'm having a hard time either for work or for a government partnership in Japan. Awesome. Or Australia, their pay is 3 times than what I get now, or stay with my video photo work. Ah, I got it. Yeah, take advantage. Take advantage of the opportunities while you can. Don't be afraid to go forward. And it's always worth it to experience, to get that experience. So I forgot to mention that ASUS Tough PSU is 1200. Yes, I still give it the same. About like I give it like an 8 out of 10 there. So I want the Steam machine. I don't even need it. I know. I think a lot of us do. A lot of us want the Steam machine here. I think it's going to drop really soon. I have a really good feeling that we're going to end up seeing it. So if the Steam machine gets a big, then we'll get exclusive games. So the good thing is for anybody out there that has Steam, where it doesn't have Steam and plans on getting the Steam machine, make sure to make a Steam username. Make a Steam username, have your accounts pretty much lined up with Steam, meaning have your card pretty much in balance, or money in your Steam wallet. And if you do that, when it's time for reservations, you can easily reserve it, because now they're going off of, if you have a Steam username, you'll be like one of the first people to truly be able to reserve it. Now I know it's going to suck for anybody that is switching over from console over to something like a Steam machine, because most of them don't have a Steam username. So that's going to be a little bit tough. I would assume maybe there's a pecking order for it on how they would do. Probably you input your email or input your phone number, and then once you get the email, you can pretty much buy the console. I would assume that's probably how they'll do it for that side. I have an ASUS AIO with LCD screen that will not display in Linux. They only have, oh, that sucks. I gotta say, ASRock's AIO has been excellent. I really love that cooler. It's pretty dope. It's Charizard, yes. Is there any way to change the Steam user? Yes, yeah, you can change the Steam username. You can absolutely change it. There's a setting inside of Steam where you can change it, and even your email if you wanted to. There's no consoles anymore. They're just low performance PCs. Absolutely. I think you go to your profile. I'm not on my I'm not on Steam right now, so I can't tell you. Gotta go under weather today on Meds Prayer. Okay, okay. I got you. So again, just to throw out there, if anyone wants to join being a member or wants to be part of the whole Threadripper build, just to let you know, feel free to super chat if you are interested in it. I know it's a lot to reach. It's probably we'll probably hit the 10th generation of Threadripper by that time. So I'm sure after all the hype, you'll be able to buy the machine on like Amazon and stuff. I think they're just gonna do it that way for now. I think so too. Unfortunately, people were selling the Steam controllers for well over $400 on eBay, which is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So the way they're going to end up doing it is more than likely going to be through text or email, and then once you receive the text or email, you pretty much enter it, and then you end up being able to purchase it. So that would be the way to go. So all my RGBs work in Linux, except I use OpenRGB, right? I'm assuming. So I got the 9600X to me over until Zen 6. Hey, it's going to last long enough. The 9600X is a great CPU to have. So we're gonna go over to Micro Center again. Waste of money. Don't get it. Especially $900. It should be closer to the $500 range, especially for old hardware.
At Tony Heyman gets super chatted $5.
Oh, nice. Yes, we did it. You see that, Weenie? We did it. Waiting for yeah, that's a thanks, Tony. Do appreciate it. We got $25 raised for the Threadripper build. I can't control my Corsair RGB fans with it, but my GPU RGBs work. With Open RGB, is that what you're having issues with? For the yes, for the Threadripper. Yeah, okay. So, Corsair RGB fans are a bit tricky. The biggest thing, are you on Linux? Let me just ask you, are you on Linux or on Windows? I should do a Linux guide on this too, actually. Just for you Linux guys out there. I use Open RGB. It is great with my CPU fans, but that is the only place I have RGBs. Okay. Yeah, okay. So you're in Cache OS. Okay. So more than likely, okay, so that's going to be a bit tricky because what you would have to do is pretty much get the hardware info all of your Corsair fans and pretty much put it into OpenRGB. That would be the best way to do it because you don't that because it's just going to be is it all your Corsair fans or just specific ones? Or do you have like different Corsair fans? You spent hours on it. I think it's the control box for them. Okay, okay. Yeah, and just to let you know, certain modes when it comes to OpenRGB, even though like if you set certain Corsair RGB lights, they're not all going to work. For example, if you set it for a static light, it would have to stick to static. Because sometimes OpenRGB is really picky about when you select the type of RGB on it. But yeah, we gotta that means I gotta get one of these PCs and load up Linux on there so that way we can do this. They're all the same LL series. Okay. So if that's the case, do you still get your default rainbow lights like when you start it up at least? Once you start up your PC? Let me see. So no detection at all. That's a bit tricky. It should. Oh, really? So if you boot into Windows. So it has to do with the controller. Because you're using the LLs, right? So that's back when you had the Corsair hub that you're connected to. So have you updated your motherboard BIOS? No. I have not. I only updated it when it was in the in USB mode. I didn't do the flashback. I did it on the traditional regular flash on USB with the ASRock BIOS. I was able to update it then, but I did have trouble doing a flashback. So if anybody does plan on doing a flashback with the ASRock BIOS, just be mindful because if you are planning to get like a Zen 6 processor, just know that it's probably best to. I hate to say, but it seems like it wasn't working. I wonder if it's gonna work now. I gotta test it to really know. Can I send my PC Parker? I don't think YouTube lets you. You're gonna have to go through Discord to send it, and then we can take a look at it. Currently on all the drivers and BIOS. Let me see. All right, so if this is the case, so from what I'm seeing, it could be I2C modules. Which chat? You go to the general chat. You can send it to the general chat, and we'll be able to receive it there. Just make sure to go into the rules side of Discord. For anyone that joins Discord here, let me just show you what it looks like. Oh, not here. Um, that's for where is it? Discord. ASUS ROG. All right. So you have there's a BIOS setting. So from what I'm seeing, it said that it was something to do with the I2C modules. So it would be something to do with along the sides of that maybe. Because but then again, the LL Corsair fans, they're a bit older, so you have to make sure to um have the right Corsair fans because there's gonna be different ones. They have newer ones. Yeah, that's all I've been able to find. Really. I have to mess with it to really look at it. Let me see. Let me go into the Discord here. And not here. Trying to get on Discord, guys. Give me a second. There we go. General chat. Why is it not showing my Discord here? There we go. Perfect. Now it should come up. It shows here, but now I got to get it to show on here. There we go. That's Discord, guys. So you got to go up to the rule side up here onto the top. And if you go to the rule side, you just hit the check mark. And you'll have access to all those servers on the left side. So make sure to just go down. It probably looks crazy right now. Let me stretch it out so you can see it better. There you go. So you just hit that green check mark, and that's how you get access to the Discord server. So if anybody wants to join in, that's where you go. There you go. Perfect. And now you can send your link. Okay, got it. I'm going to open up the link now. Oh. I'm putting C. Now I copied C. Of course I did. There we go. So this is it. Here it is. So this is all the parts, the 9950X3D. Damn, so it came out to 4500 technically. So you got the ASUS Prime LC. That's a good cooler. ASUS Prime X870P. Kingston Fury Beast RGB 64 gigabytes. Samsung 9100 Pro. Crazy, it's still that expensive. The EVGA for the win, 30 RTX 3090, and the ASUS Tough Gaming 1200G, and the Logitech Brio Ultra HD Pro webcam. That's a very decent build. So it ended up totaling. So you got Kingston actually has great RAM. So control box doesn't. You have to download it through the terminal, I would assume, if that's the case. Basically, all the forums and my own research led me to the control box, not like in Linux. Oh, really? You tried the... So sometimes you have to go through, I know, like the sudo command and then be able to just download it there, like through the terminal. You just have to find where it is. I'm currently watching while at work, so I'm kind of in it. That's cool. No, just appreciate your attendance here. Real good news is this is over 5 months. Yes. I'm really curious to see how they're going to do things. Like when it comes to CES this year. When it comes to CES, I know for sure we're going to hear all about AI at Computex. We're already joking that's going to be called Compu AI Tex. Because that's certainly to be expected. I used my old motherboard. Yeah. Yeah. That is awesome though. Not that much more. So, yeah, for this build, it's a very good build. I know for the cooler, I find it very interesting because the way it is, it's silent. It's actually a really silent cooler. I know. I would not pay 1900 for a 3090. Yes, I think we all love good news. We certainly all love to hear good news. And let's see. Now, when it comes to, again, you don't want to buy a PlayStation. You want to go ahead and take a look. Definitely look at the bundles if you do end up picking up stuff. Let me see. I'm curious if they have sales on ASUS. They do. Save $100 when bundled with the eligible ASUS products. So it's very specific. You have to bundle with certain deals. I was just curious because I was considering selling my motherboard so I could upgrade. It's an ASUS 790p that wanted 320. Really? Wow, that's crazy. I can't believe they 324 for it. That's actually quite a bit, especially for an ASUS Prime Z790. Were you thinking of getting the was it the Z790? Was it going to be the Hero? Was it, or you were thinking of getting? Assuming you're sticking with ASUS, or go for the what's the other one that they have? The because I know they had the Maximus Hero on the Intel line. You might try taking that fan out of the chain. The bad LED can take out the whole line. Yeah, the thing is, it seems like it's working when it's going into Windows, though. If it's working, if it's going into Windows, it's something to do with the OS, I feel. But then again, the hardware lights should automatically come on most of the time. I bought 3090. Yeah, I know that was a good deal to get it for 12th gen. I agree. 12900K. I felt that was a large game changer, and I loved how cool it ran. I remember those temps; they were really nice and cool. So if it works in Windows, it's yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. So tell bro, go for an ASRock motherboard. It's a ASUS. I'm pretty sure that they're all good, but I'll try it. I love it, Steven. Plus, 12th generation i9 can use DDR4. Yes, absolutely. It has those options to be able to run DDR4 if you really wanted to. I think it's specifically though the Z690, right? I don't think they have any Z790 boards where they can run DDR4 too, right? And you know the thing I always think about, speaking of that, is the whole. I don't know if you guys remember this, but the ASUS DDR5 to DDR4 converter. Is it called a converter? I forget what it is. Adapter card. Take a look at this. Remember this? That I know a lot of people wish that they had something like this now, but it practically converted DDR4 to DDR5. My wife on a DDR4 board, i7-12700K is a great little combo. I'm on a 12600KF with the B660 motherboard on the DDR4, and I could have bought the same motherboard in DDR5. Yeah. Yeah, usually they have the two variations, I know, specifically with it. So like on the Z690s and also the B660s and everything, they also had the different variations to where you could choose. You could choose to go on DDR5. I'm running DDR 5200, and that was the recommended speed to get it, especially even through Raptor Lake. It was the same way. When there was a SkyTech pre-built, it was fine. But yeah, but either way, those are great. It's a great generation of Intel at that time. It's a shame they didn't really keep up with it, but I'm really curious to see how they're going to pull this Nova Lake. I think Nova Lake's going to be quite competitive. It's going to be a good type of competitive because we need it, especially in the industry now. It's not has not been really that great when it comes to competitiveness. As you can see, like the 9950 XTD 2 cost at $900. It's probably still $900, right? Or did it drop already? Let me see. I wouldn't be surprised if it did already. Yeah, $900. I wish this stupid voice chat would just work. You're having issues with the voice chat. I don't know how much better it would be to go from DDR4 to DDR5. And yeah, that would be a good test to run. You might, I'm sure somebody has run a test on it before. Disable virtualization in your BIOS. I know it blocks my Linux machines from getting direct access to. Oh, okay. That makes a lot of sense. It could be that. We need to keep real competition with Nvidia because and the thing is, like, AMD had plenty of times to really show and like really shove competition to them, but for some reason they never do it. They never. When you think they're gonna do it, especially I thought they were gonna show something in CS 2026. I think a lot of us had a lot of hope when it came to it. But then it just didn't appear. AMD just did not show up like when it came for that side. But of course, for those who attended the conference, just saw what it was mostly about. It was mostly AI. It's mostly things that people don't truly care about. And that was the big joke, was like it's supposed to be like the consumer electronics show, not catered to just businesses. So yeah, that's why my text comes out a little weird. Sometimes I forget to check. Well, in AMD, they call it SVM mode until it's in virtualization. They're yes, absolutely. So, yes, if anyone's thinking of building, it's very possible. And you can feel free to ask questions. This is a great option here. Intel Core Ultra 7 270K plus gigabyte Z890 equal Wi-Fi 7 for $600, 32 gigabytes. Again, that's a beast processor, and that's still cheaper than the 9950 X3D2. For anyone that wants to run like some really good task with Intel, this is a great option to go. Here is a PC hack for you guys. Go to a pawn shop or marketplace and buy a laptop and take the NVMe out of it. I got my 1 terabyte that way for $100. Oh wow, awesome. Hey, that's one thing I want to do is go to pawn shops to see what they offer or what they sell PCs for. I think I did get the RAM Lite to work. Oh, nice. So also I do got to mention, I'll put it up on the website too. If you guys don't know, I have a website, www.chrismuso.com. Pretty soon I'll put up the PCs up for some of the PCs, the PCs that were just built. I'll put them up for a deal. So you're welcome to check it out once it is up and ready. I'll let you guys know. I'll also put it up locally, and that way we can get some movement going, because of course building isn't free, so we gotta pay the business bills. Thank you, Smitty. I'm glad you enjoy it. We do this every Wednesdays and Saturdays live. I'm glad you're having a lot of fun. Holding off on Intel for the yes. I think I'm really excited for Intel. I hope they show a little bit of something at Computex, because I think they're going to show some seer weapons for sure. If you play story games and you actually finish them, you don't really need more than 1 terabyte. However, I'm a slacker, and the Steam, there's games I have on Steam. I think, you know what? I'll throw a poll out there. I can pretty much guarantee you that there's people here that hasn't played every game on Steam. Have you played? I'm going to ask it. Have you played every game in your Steam library? I bet the majority will tell you. I bet the majority will tell you that they have not. And there it is. So feel free to vote. Put 1 or 2. Yeah, I definitely didn't. Because some of the games you get on the summer sale, You'll get like 3 games that come with it, and you don't touch it. Well, mine's it says Intel VT for virtualization and Intel on Majora Linux. Ooh, yeah. I'm pretty sure the majority is gonna definitely be 2. I thought so. Look at all the news. There hasn't been one yes, and if there is one yes, I gotta ask how many games you have on Steam. I would be really curious then. There's just so many games in that library there. It's really impossible to keep up. And oh yeah, that means the summer sale should be coming up soon, right? Steam summer sale. That should be coming up in like in about a month, I think. In another month we should have the Steam summer sale. And then we're gonna have even more games to throw into our library that we still don't play. 100 on Steam. I think that's where I'm closer at. I mean, I've seen people have like 500-600 games on Steam. I wish I had that collection. It's got to look insane. That at that point you probably want to create another Steam username just to separate everything, but I know a lot of people are guilty of not like organizing their Steam categories like when it comes to their client. But you know what's insane when you really think about it? Has Steam has the GUI of Steam, has the interface of Steam really changed that much since you had Steam? I feel like it really truly hasn't, and it's still great. It's something for some reason Steam's client you never truly get bored of. So laugh my ass off. I have Barbie games on the Steam I bought from. Oh, that's funny. She has her own. It's insane, isn't it? You could. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you could transfer some of the games over to another account. She's probably not going to want them at this point, though. Uh, Years ago, I deleted a bunch. I kind of wish I wouldn't have, but I had over 100 easily. If I downloaded everything, I wouldn't be able to. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. It's like, oh, really? She might. Hey, you never know. Sometimes you do go back to those throwback games. Um, and I remember back then too, there was like a lot more choice, like when it came to buying games. Because remember before, like you didn't really have everything on Steam. Certain games you would have, it would just run on its own, like have its own client, so to say. Oh, there's a talk channel. If you go to the talk channel, I'll show you. If you go further down, go to the bottom, you'll see the mod hub. Not mod hub. You'll see voice channels. Go to the voice channels. I should move it up, maybe. I should put it onto the top. I'll move it up, in fact. I'll put it right on top of chit chat. But usually I put the voice channels on there, but that's where it is. I'll probably put it back actually. I don't think that many people will go into the voice chat, but we do have it. Of course, I saved all the Half-Life games, and I fear those games. I still love playing those. Absolutely. You know what I do hope for is when they do end up releasing Steam Machine. So we got 100% no. I kind of figured that would happen. So when they release Steam Machine, let's all hope. And I know this was rumored since pretty much the Video Game Awards is that Half-Life 3 would pop out. Like they were going to show a trailer of it. But we all don't know how true that is or if it's truly in the making. If it is, it would be a nice surprise if Half-Life 3 just came out of nowhere. But I think it would actually do really well if they come out with it. So ask me how many games I start. Oh man. And I feel like I gotta finish Elden Ring. I'm really guilty of not finishing Elden Ring. And I know I'm not that much further into it. I'm just trying to beat the stupid side quests in order to beat the game. For some reason, I'm the kind of person where I have to do the side quest. I can't just leave them alone. So I love playing the game Fear. I still have all of them and Left 4 Dead. Yes, those are great games. I have a 20. Oh, really? I'm 25. That's funny. And Ellis. Yes, Half-Life. Half-Life. I don't think I feel like we're never going to see Half-Life 3 at this point. The closest thing we got to it was Half-Life Alyx. And you have to have, of course, a headset to really play that game. So, according to my profile, I have to look at that. Makes me really curious. I know I have to update my Asus ROG Ally, Xbox Ally X. I gotta update it, update the basic firmware on here, because that's what I run on the Xbox Ally X here. But because I was trying to hook up this Steam controller to it, and of course I was having some issues because it seemed like I had to hook up the dongle, which I'll definitely bring up in the review. I definitely got to bring that up because I'm curious to see if that is a major benefactor to it. So let me apply update. I never finished Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and I got a 30-hour mark and lose interest. Is there? I know there's a lot of you guys out there. I got my controller yesterday. Yes, awesome. I got the controller here, guys, and I didn't really get to play with it too much, but I messed with it a bit. But if you guys are curious, here it is. That's the Steam controller. It feels really nice. I'll mention it all in the review too for anyone that's curious about the Steam controller review. It has actually a really nice haptic feedback when you're using the trackpad, and it's really smooth and accurate. Definitely the analog sticks are like smaller than you would think. Originally, I thought they were going to be a lot bigger. I mean, just to give you an indication, I have a Xbox 360. I agree, the haptic feedback's really good. Now, just to give you an idea, here are some Xbox 360, not Xbox 360. I always say Xbox 360, but the Xbox controller, right? This is like pretty much the analog, and here is the Steam controller. You can see that the size difference between the two, and the sticks are really similar in size. They're not very like wide or thick. It's very similar. Almost looks like the sticks are from the same manufacturer, except these obviously don't use analog sticks. This actually uses TMR sticks. Yeah, and that's a really nice thing about it. It feels wide. It almost, you know what it feels like? If you played an Xbox controller back in the day, the Xbox 360 controller with the keypad. That's kind of like how it is. But yeah, definitely excited to really push it and test it. And I'm really curious how it is when I put it up next to the Envision Pro, which is like the one of the top controllers you can get when it comes to PC gaming. Of course, you have the Razer Wolverine, which is another one, but and I have the DualSense Edge, and I'll compare it to like how they are with them. I'm curious how the accuracy is when it comes to the sticks. Actually, yeah, I'll do that in the review. Like everything will be in the review. I plan on having it up by Sunday. That's when I'll more than likely have the full review, because I'm going to have a lot of time with it, really test it to see how well this controller works. I agree with Smitty. It's really awesome of a controller. I have the Mamba controller. I love it. You can get it on sale for $55. It has a screen on it. You can adjust all the screens. Yeah, you know what's funny? There's some controllers out there where you can get like for a really good deal. I swear PC guys have, yeah, I know we have a lot. In fact, I had so many controllers too. One of my buddies, his controller was going. So I felt bad for him. So I had to send them one because I was like, man, I have so many controllers and I don't even touch half of them. The Xbox controller, I haven't touched it in so long that I replaced it with the rechargeable battery in there, and I just let it sit for so long that rechargeable battery's dead. Like it's completely dead. There's dead cells in it, so I gotta completely replace it. The Fly Digi Vader Pro 5S, nice. I've heard of this one too. There's so many different variations. That's the best part about having a PC. See, when you have a PlayStation, or if you have an Xbox, you don't have the options when it comes to controllers. You can only select one licensed controller that's set for that console and that's it. But when it comes to PC, you're able to purchase any type of controller that you like. Anything that you're comfortable with, you can play on PC. You should search for Mamba. I'm sure it's on a good deal for someone that needs an inexpensive controller. Yes, Newegg. I'm sure it is on Newegg. Yes. Oh man. Let me see. Let's see. Mamba controller, right? Let's look at Newegg real quick and put Mamba. That'll probably pop up. That's interesting. What the joystick helper? Oh, okay. That's just an attachment. No, that's like a really generic. This reminds me of like those remember back in the day, like when they had the GameStop controllers and they would sell them. That's what it looks like one of those GameStop controllers. The reason I like Resident Evil 9 is is a 12 to 4 hour game, a 14-hour game, not open world, and all of it I get to kill Mr. X. Yes, the Mamba. I love Resident Evil 9. I love the mix of it. I really love the mix of the game. I love how they give you the horror aspect and give you the action. There you go. There it is. So that's what you're looking for. The Switch controller. Compatible with Switch Lite OLED. Nice. So they really talk about their cracked paint technique. So they call this the Switch Pro controller. So I guess you can play it on Switch. It's similar. The only difference, I guess, the biggest difference some people don't like is they prefer symmetrical joysticks, and some people don't mind the joysticks not being so symmetrical. So it's just all on preference there. So when we play Castle Crashers in the living room, I have a 8-bit though GameSir SteelSeries and MSI controller hooked up wall. That's insane. I mean, that's how it should be. That's real gaming, man. You don't have to have all matching controllers. Real gamers, I feel like, have a variation of controllers, which is true. We all have a ton of different controllers. So the 270K is one of the first desktop designs where adding another compute die is actually feasible without redesigning the entire processor from scratch. Double 270. Hey, yeah, that would be pretty amazing. I mean, there is like rumors of them like still continuing to work on the same socket. That's not it. It has Oh wow. And this is the knockoff version. This is the Switch Pro. Oh, is it this one? The interactive screen. Oh, that looks much more different. So 92 has remappable buttons, 1800 mega amps, milliamps, not mega amps, milliamps with charging dock. This is pretty dope. Hall effects joysticks, okay. And linear Hall effect triggers. So there it is. So this is a really good controller. And they're selling it for $92.99. What? That's interesting. And I'm surprised. I love Intel. Hey, Intel's a great brand. It's been around for there's a reason why they survived so long. I just hope that they can truly prove that they can compete with AMD, and that's the biggest thing. That's what we want to see them is really go neck and neck with AMD. Have competition, so that way pricing can get be great once again. That's the biggest issue is that pricing is so expensive right now because that there is no competition. Nvidia could price whatever they want because there's no real competition for them, and that's what we have to see when it comes to new tech. I got it on sale for 55 bucks on Amazon, but it usually sells for 69. Oh wow, I got the white one with the clear cover. Oh, that's pretty dope. So you have this one then. So these ones are, oh no, wait, that's a different brand. That one says, this one's called J Suing. J Suing? AMD is hard to get. to catch apparently, but I'll stick to my Intels. Been using them for 30 plus years. Hey, that's how a lot of Intels are. A lot of them love the CPU and just hang on to it from generation into generation. But I'll tell you what, it's amazing that how you'll have. It seems like I know a lot of Intel people like that. They just stick to Intel. They will not go away from one from Intel. They won't go away from one manufacturer. But mostly Intel people are like that. On AMD, I noticed that they're more likely the ones that'll switch over if they have to. Like if they feel like that AMD is not producing a good product, they'll be the ones that are willing to switch over. So Hidden Pool says the price on the 270K for the price means if you have it means if they double its power and price, it'll smoke. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it would do great. That you're talking about like a dual compute die, and you're talking about the multi-processing capabilities it could do. It's practically you're turning it into like a workstation processor at that point. If that's the case, that would be pretty amazing. Um, of course, I would be really curious on how it would do, like when it comes on the whole gaming side. I'm on the 9th gen 2066 CPU i7-9800X at 4.6, 64 gigabytes. DDR4 and she's still plenty fast. That's it. That's all that matters. I built a low end and mid range build, so no need for me to switch AMD and NVIDIA with only high end. Nice, nice. Hey, that's the way to do things. That is the way to do it. So let's see. So when you look here, there's definitely a lot of options when it comes to controllers. You got hundreds. I feel like I feel like I'm starting to change my mind about this whole Vision Pro. I feel a bit mixed. After using it for some time, I'll definitely let you guys know a bit more about it. But with the Vision Pro, I love that controller. It's a great controller, feels comfortable. But at times, there's so many times where it's a little bit wonky, so to say. Like it'll every once in a while that controller end up like freezing up, where I actually have to reset it. It's really weird. I actually have to take off the faceplate to go and reset that controller. Um, so originally I thought it was a great controller. I thought it was great. I still think it's a great controller, but I just don't like the fact where every once in a while I have to reset it once in a while. Most controllers shouldn't have to do that, but I noticed that the Vision Pro will do that. Oh man, good luck. I hope you get it. I hope hopefully they learn from this. I hope when they do the whole Steam machines, they pretty much do the same thing that they do the reservations. So everybody that's just coming in, just to update you guys. No, I don't think I have seen that. But I definitely will look that up though. Let's look it up. Game Sir G's, or maybe we did. 8K. Oh, that's pretty nice. $90. And what does it feature? Oh, TMR Sticks Gen 2. Dual mode trigger stops for remappable macro buttons, ultra fast actuating buttons, and motion control gyroscoping. Dual asymmetric rumble motors. That's actually pretty nice. See, I like controllers too, where you can customize it. So it looks like, but the one thing I don't like about what the Steam controller does have is like they give you a USB-C to USB-A, which I feel I despise at this point now because like if I hook it up to like the Xbox, the RD Xbox Ally X, I have to use a dock in order to plug it in. So or have a cable with me that's USB-C. So I bought a Noella trackball. I love it. It's flat and it's about you're one of those rare breeds that likes trackballs. I feel very mixed about those. So I did get a new monitor, AOC 1440p, awesome. IPS. How do you like it? How do you like the performance of it? I use GameCert Nova Lite 2 right now until I get my Fly Digi Vader. So the Fly Digi Vader, guys, looks like Fly Digi. Yes. Here it is. Oh, they got a Vader 5. Wow. I didn't know they went up to that already. I like trackballs for surfing the web. It's awesome. Gives me more space. It makes sense. It makes sense. My only issues with controllers are some of the third-party controllers. The back buttons are way easy to push. Uses all really. Ooh, so they don't use TMR. Even when it comes to the this specific generation, because this I'm assuming this is okay. This is for Xbox. Let's see, PC controllers. So you got the Vader 5 Pro and tech specs. You're right. It looks like Hall Effect. They do not have TMR sticks. Well, Hall Effect sticks are really good too. So you like the adjustable joysticks? I can see. That is pretty nice though. Now that just makes me want to get more controllers that I don't need, right? So, fan guys, I appreciate everyone for coming in. I do. I like how it looks. That's why I said I like it. Makes me want to get more controllers than I need. So, fan guys, I do appreciate everyone for coming into the chat. We've raised up to $25 for the Threadripper build. We only got $7,975 to go. We're not too much longer, guys. Maybe we'll get there once we hit the 10th generation Threadripper. If not, there's always the 11th gen too. So thank you, Hidden Bull. Yes, I'm glad that you enjoyed the show. Thank you, Weenie. Thank you, Smitty, for being a wonderful new member of the fan band. Concrete, of course. And I got to thank our wonderful Tony, Steven. And I got to also thank Doctor Who. I got to thank a champ out there. Got to thank Waffle Skater. I thank all of you guys being part of the wonderful stream. Z-Man, thank you. Have a wonderful night, and I really hope to see you. And Nellis, and I really hope to see you guys on this upcoming Saturday. Hopefully, you guys had a great time and tried to get plenty of rest, and hopefully, you guys get that Steam controller sometime soon. Have a wonderful night or a great morning, depending where you are in the world. Thanks so much, and see you soon. Saturdays, I usually stream at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Thanks again, Doctor, and thanks again, JH.